staff, both on the Democratic side and Republican side, the policy staffers that have traveled the state and worked on this very diligently. We appreciate every one of them. And Colin and Grady, I appreciate all the work that you put into this committee process as well. Very experienced and has been a wealth of knowledge and help to us as well. I will report to all of you that the website that we utilized for most of our committee hearing, which was online and offered testimony, also will have an electronic copy of this same report up if any of you would like to, whether it's tossing it out to many of your schools or campuses or taking a look at it yourself. And with that, Representative Hagan and I are happy to not answer any questions. And any questions?
You talk about establishing goals and benchmarks. What teeth do you put behind that? I mean, it's one thing to set a number, but if nobody hits it and everyone shrugs their shoulders. Yeah. What do you do to ensure that those are hit?
Thanks, Jim. That's a good question. I think that some of this is to make sure that we're talking with, and a lot of this is going to happen in interested party meetings as we move forward. And we've had this conversation. For example, let's talk about the certification process that the Board of Regents are taking on now. As we continue to look at these goals and notice where things are going, if necessary, the legislature can set parameters and goals and benchmarks into the future to meet these areas that we're looking at. A lot of this that you're looking for example, the College Credit Plus, we expect to take that up in this General Assembly, looking to create pathways and better avenues to guide students into where they're going into the future, whether it's vocational training, community college, or whether it's going to a proprietary school, or whether it's going to a four-year traditional school. These are areas to which we're looking to set new goals and benchmarks as we go forward. OCOG is one of them. This is a very complex issue that goes through, it's very siloed, many different issues that we still need to talk about. And as Representative Hagan said, as far as one of the recommendations, is looking at tying some of this funding for performance-based factors, and also to meeting job demands here in the state of Ohio. So it's a work in progress, Jim, and we're continuing to look to make these goals and benchmarks as we move forward. And if necessary, set them legislatively if we have to.
On your recommendation related to refining the performance-based funding, are you suggesting that there need to be further tweaks to the new funding formula, SSI formula for schools?
Well, I definitely think, look, I think that anytime you have a new funding formula come into play, that there's always going to be a chance that we need to go back and reassess and look at areas that may need to be tweaked in the future. So I definitely wouldn't rule that out. But I think more so we're talking about the issues we continue to have conversations about OCOG, which, trust me, every member of this body, Democrat and Republican, are committed to the opportunity to sit down in these interested party meetings and bring all the folks to the table. And we have challenged them as well to come to the table and say, look, how are we all going to work together to make this work into the future? But also looking at ways that we can tie performance standards to it and meet job demands as we go forward into the future. Because the most important thing that we all are, every one of us care about is jobs and creating jobs. We have a period of time now, we have over 80,000 jobs, I believe, that are open. We have to meet this degree gap by 2025, and we all have to work together. And ensuring the students have the access and the financial ability to go forward, especially those that are adult learners that are reinventing themselves. You know, they've been in some places like a DHL worker that's lost their job, and now they're out to look and they need to get some retraining. We need to ensure that the tools and those things that are necessary for them to do it are moving forward. And I just had a conversation not too long ago the other day with many career tech schools, and we're talking about how they can take the example of their students that are doing it today and get them out there so that they can help break down stereotypes. Because time and time again, as we heard from some folks with testimony, you've got students that come in, they're parents of 4 or 5 kids, they're trying to get their kids through school themselves, they're trying to work and also reinvent themselves by getting a new education. And we've got to ensure that that's a big key and proponent of moving forward the state in the right direction to ensure that those folks can reinvent themselves, to get these good paying jobs, move them out of being underemployed. So to me, this is extremely important for economic development in our state, and we must focus now. This is why I'm so very honored the Speaker allowed us members that have served on this committee to move this forward, because the conversation is about education. It's about K-12 education. It's about ensuring that we're preparing students to meet job demands. We can plan to forecast for the workforce, but we also need to help students forecast to where they like to go into the future and make sure that have the pathways and the educational tools necessary to do so as they go forward. That's why what Representative Hagan spoke about, a career mentoring, it won't be a cost to the schools. We'll ensure the fact that they make sure, we're putting people in schools that are going to be able to come to the schools to be career counselors and basically help these students with some guidance. And so mentorship in this process is extremely important. So as we continue to go forward, and those are more goals and objects that we're going to continue to set somewhat on ourselves, Jim, as we continue to do like Mentorship Ohio, that we hope to get out by the end of this General Assembly.
Aside from the mentorship and the College Credit Plus, is there anything you see showing up in legislation in the very near future?
Well, the Senate is already put forward some legislation, I believe it's Senator Gardner and Senator Lehner, with the 529 plan and increasing the cap. So this is, of course, a recommendation that we have heard ourselves out of many of the reports. And again, I'll have to say that we've had a great partnership with the Senate in moving forward in this process. And as Representative Stinziano kind of spoke with the process, we want to make sure we're very inclusive, and we're working with the other side of the aisle and the Senate as we move forward in the right direction for higher education.
And just further to reiterate the military services training, hopefully we'll get to the point of having more experiential learning accreditation accrued as well.